What's up guys, James here from Reflect the Screen, and today I dig my paws into Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs is director-writer Wes Anderson's 9th feature-length film and his first since 2014's Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, Isle of Dogs surrounds one boy's quest to find his dog after it was unjustly sent to, well, a trash island. Now in Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson revisits stop-motion animation and tells the tale of Atari, voiced by Koyu Rankin, the distant nephew to Mayor Kobayashi, a tyrannical leader who loves cats and hates dogs. Kobayashi begins a major deportation of several dogs to Trash Island, where man's best friend is starved and basically told to fend for themselves. One day, even Atari's bodyguard dog Spots, voiced by Lev Schreiber, is deported to the Isle of Dogs in a steel cage, destined for death. Once Atari reaches the island, he and a group of dogs realize Spots is still alive, and their adventure begins. Now what a treat this film is, no pun intended. I think the world that Wes Anderson crafts in Isle of Dogs is so beautiful, and the story, yeah, it's a little dark, but there are some really happy moments, and it really made me personally miss my dog. So for those who love dogs out there, it'll connect with you on that level. It's really a delightful tale of wonder that delivers on expressing some depressing parts of society. No, dogs aren't being deported to fictional islands, but if you think of, I don't know, things like immigration in this world and people being deported unjustly, maybe there's a similarity. And no, the fictional government in Isle of Dogs, I mean, look, it's not happening. There's no Mayor Kobayashi that I can think of that's actually doing this to animals. But don't you think there are some tyrannical governments out there in this world? I mean, I don't know. Almost immediately noticeable is the attention to detail. The stop-motion animation, like I said earlier, is wonderfully done, and the film's colorful. Really colorful. It's just beautiful to look at, and I often caught myself in a trance, especially during a certain nighttime sequence where there were sake bottles, like glowing sake bottles, that made a tent, and Atari was with the other dogs, trying to convince them, hey, help me look for my boy Spots. The film also is very rich in Japanese culture. It's in its DNA. Before the screening here in South Florida, there were some performers, well, really artists, I want to say, because the way they play these drums is masterful. They call it the taiko drums, and it's a drum, but it's a traditional Japanese drum, and Wes Anderson did his best to basically make that, a part of what makes the film special, and that's it being true to form. This felt like something that wasn't made by a director that isn't Japanese, and that's kind of cool. Now, before the film actually began, there was a really interesting title card that said, look, there's going to be a lot of things in Japanese, and we're going to retain the dialogue, and the translation won't come from subtitles. It'll come from different contextual clues, and it'll come from maybe somebody narrating it. And I thought that was really interesting, and I was curious to see how it would pan out. Luckily for this, it panned out perfect. I expected maybe subtitles, because a majority of the film is spoken in either dog or spoken in Japanese. So it was really neat to see Wes Anderson present a unique approach to translating it for us. Although if there's any knock to this film that I'll give it, it's that maybe in some moments we jumped to the past and back to the present and then to the past again, and they kept pulling us out of certain moments, which for the most part wasn't a bad thing because you wanted to be given, I guess, more background and understand why we're feeling the way we're feeling for these characters. But one too many times I felt like it went backwards instead of forwards. Now, even though that minor flaw existed, it was bandaged by some wonderful voice acting. Voices by Edward Norton, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, and even a graceful Scarlett Johansson helped make this film so special. The actor that stole the show for me was Bryan Cranston. In this film, he plays a very rough and tough dog named Chief, and Chief is like the alpha male in the film, and Bryan Cranston really delivers on being menacing in tone. And then there are moments in the film where you start to see Chief open up. And this is actually the one character in the film that has the best arc, because you see it come full circle, and it's wonderful. Again, this film is just rich in detail. There's not one moment where you think, that could have been done better. I mean, I don't know how long it took for this film to be made, but you can tell each bit of hair swaying in the wind, each frame. I mean, there's a sushi sequence where they're making sushi, and it's just fantastic. It's very well done. And of course, during the final act, the film hit me in the gut, and it made me feel something. And I hadn't been to a film before I Love Dogs throughout this year that has made me feel the way I Love Dogs has felt. So there you have it, guys. I Love Dogs gets 2 paws up. If you enjoyed what you heard about I Love Dogs, go ahead and give this film a like. If you didn't, tell me why you didn't like it in the comments. And if you want to see more from Reflect the Screen, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to take another step, go to reflectthescreen.com, where I'll be posting news articles and some written reviews that might not make its way in front of the camera. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll catch you at the next screening.